Good morning. We're not at school. We're at my house. Today's Thursday, and it's the day before our tea party. And guess what we have to do? We have to bake a cake. Usually when we're at school, one or two of our mummies volunteer to bake the cakes, and they bring them in, and then we ice them on the day of the tea party. But we can't do that this year because everyone's going to have a tea party at their own house. And I'm hoping, especially in my classes in JK, you'll join me for Zoom time. I've sent you the text telling you the time and details, and we can kind of maybe have a tea party together. So what do you do to bake a cake? Well, you need all sorts of ingredients, but the first thing I have to do is wash my hands, because you always have to wash your hands before you start baking. So I'm going to put on my soap. We've been really talking about hand washing. I'm sure Mommy and Daddy are talking to you about it too. I'm going to turn on my tap. Rub. We wash our hands in the bathroom sink, but sometimes we can use the kitchen sink. So I'm going in between my all in here to make sure it's nice and clean. Scrubbing here, scrubbing here, scrubbing here. I'm gonna turn it off. Remember I tell you that at school, make sure you swish your hands in the sink first so they don't drip all over the counter. I don't have paper towels because I'm at my house. I'm going to dry my hands now, make sure they're nice and dry. So today we're also going to be talking about math. Did you know baking is math? That was my favorite math, was baking, because I love to bake. So before we start the actual baking, I'm going to show you my measuring cups. You've probably seen them, your mom or dad probably have them too. So this is 1 cup. This cup isn't as big, and it says 1/2, half a cup. So that means I need 2 of these to make 1 cup. This one says 1-3. That means I need 3 of these to make 1 cup. Did you know that? And this one says 1-4. That means I need 4 of these to make a cup. So this is called a 1/4 cup, a 1/3 cup, a 1/2 cup, and 1 cup. And you know what? I'm just going to let the dogs in because they're scratching to come in. Oh, Reggie and Arnie, get in here, but do not go near the food. These silly dogs. They're so big. So you also need a recipe when you're going to bake. And this is my recipe. And guess what kind of cake we're going to make? You can make whatever kind you like, but Mr. Freer loves chocolate cake. So I'm making chocolate cake for our tea party. So this is the recipe. It says 1 cup of flour, 1 cup, see, cup of sugar. Oh, 1/2 of a cup of cocoa, unsweetened. That's what makes the chocolate cocoa. And then these are spoons. 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. Oh, this is 1 1/4. 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 3/4 of a cup of milk, 1/3 of a cup of butter. If you don't have butter, you could use oil. I like to use butter. 1 teaspoon of vanilla, and 1 egg. And then you have to bake it at 350 for 30 to 35 minutes. So this is going to make 1 layer cake. If you need more than a 1 layer cake, you would double this. You would do 2, 2, 1, 1, 1/2, 1 1/2, 2/3, 2 teaspoons, and 2 eggs. But there's only me, Mr. Freer, and my mom, who's a Gigi. She's a great grandma. So we just need enough for 3 people at our house. So first of all, here's my baking pan. So I have to put the wet ingredients in first. I'm going to get the milk out of the fridge. So let's get the milk out. And I'm going to pour my milk in here. So I need 3/4 of a cup. So here we go. Whoops. Oh, this doesn't want to open. There we go. Okay, here we go. 3/4 of a cup. So here's 1 cup. So it's almost up to the cup, but not quite. So I'm gonna pour it in here. So I'm doing this like this, but if you were helping your mom, if I had Penny Ready here, I would get them to pour it in. So I'm actually doing this too to help moms and dads that haven't baked before. So then I would ask Penny to crack it. So you have to go like this. And it's gonna, if you haven't cracked eggs before, you have to be really careful. So you go like this. And you crack. So it's really wet in here. Now I needed butter. So let me get my butter. So I needed 1/3 of a cup of butter. Now butter is kind of cool because if you get a brand new butter container, it actually has the markings on the side. So it says that half of this is 1 cup and we needed 1/3. So that means I need to divide it into 3. 1, 2, that's exactly 1/3 here. I could put it in the 3rd cup, but I'm gonna leave it because I know this is 1/3. If you want it to, you could put it in that cup. There's my butter, and I needed 1 teaspoon of vanilla. I love the smell of vanilla. Let me smell it. It smells so good. So this is my spoon measure, and I'm gonna pour it in here. I have to be, so actually, you should pour it over here because you don't want to dump extra. So again, I would get my little friend to help me do it and let them put it in. Let them have a smell too so they can smell what vanilla smells like. So if you like vanilla ice cream, this is the vanilla they put in. So these are what we call the wet ingredients, right? They're wet. So then I'm going to put my mixer on, and this is a job that mommy or daddy probably do because you can't put your hand anywhere near the beater because it's a machine and you don't want to get hurt. So here we go. Whoa, you have to do it slowly so it doesn't spin up the... Some of it came out of the bowl. So you do slowly to begin with. The milk and the butter and the egg all have to get mixed together. If I knew you were coming, I'd have baked a cake, baked a cake, baked a cake. If I knew you were coming, I'd have baked a cake. La da 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 da. Well, I am baking a cake, and I hope you're baking a cake after this to get ready for your tea party. So it's still mixing. I can go probably a little bit faster now because it shouldn't spurt out so much. So I have to get it's the butter that we need to mix in and the egg so it doesn't look like egg anymore. Maybe while I'm waiting, I'm going to put my eggshell in my composter. This is my composter on my kitchen counter. Remember we talked about composting on Earth Week, on Earth Day. I'm going to do a little bit more. So baking takes time. It's not just snip snap. You have to be patient, but it's kind of fun to do it. It's kind of yummy. There's different kinds of cakes you can make. You can make vanilla cake. You can make lemon cake. You could make spice cake. So many different kinds of cakes. Or chocolate cake. Alright, I think it's good enough. So I'm going to lift this up. Oh, you can see that the butter's kind of mixed in. So now what we have to do, do you remember what's the first ingredient we need? Mr. Fear, can you tell me what the first ingredient is?
1 cup of flour.
Okay, so here is my flour. And I really do need 1 cup, so I have to go like this with my... So when you do it, did you know when I went to school, they used to teach us things like this? It's called home ec. I liked home ec. Okay, so 1 cup of flour goes in. Okay, what goes in next, Mr. Freer?
1 cup of sugar.
Okay, I'm gonna get the sugar out. This is a big sugar bag. I'm using white sugar for this. It's got a little bit of lump, so the sugar's gonna go in here. And what goes in next?
1 half a cup of cocoa, unsweetened.
Okay, so cocoa is what's going to give it the chocolate flavor. So open this up. And so we need half a cup. And
Yeah.
here we go. So again, you're going to let the boys and girls put this in. So this does not have any sugar in it. So do not taste it because it will taste bitter. We learned about bitter tastes in the fall time. We talked about we can taste sweet, we can taste sour, we can taste bitter, and we can taste, what was the fourth taste that we talked about? It's gone out of my head. All right, anything else I need to add?
Half a teaspoon of baking soda.
Okay, baking soda. We need that because otherwise the cake won't rise, it'll be flat. It looks so nice. So here's our baking soda. Remember we used baking soda to make the volcano? So remember how it made the vinegar spurt out? That's what will make this cake do. It won't make it spurt, but it will make it grow bigger. And what's the last thing I need?
A quarter teaspoon of baking powder.
Okay. So this is my baking powder. Baking powder kind of does the same thing. It makes the cake rise so that it doesn't stay flat, so it rises. And then I think there's one more thing we need, right?
1/4
Teaspoon of salt.
of salt.
Yes, okay, so I'm gonna get my salt here. Salt's good for us. Okay, there's my salt. Our body needs salt. All right, so now, back to the mixer. So here we go. So this is mixing. Oh, it's mixing nice. I'm gonna put my milk away. And I'm gonna show you my pan. This is a pan I'm gonna put the cake in. So I actually already put some grease in it. I actually put butter in it from the, this is a trick my grandma taught me when I was a little girl. You just use the butter and you just wipe it like this. And then you're being thrifty. You're not wasting. You don't have your foil from your butter. You can put in a little bit of oil. Some people flour the edge of the cake. I don't usually flour it that much. You can, so it doesn't stick, because we want to make sure that it's going to come out when it's done, and put it on a nice plate. So to flour the edge, you go like this. You just put a little bit in, and you just, and that stops the cake from sticking. I'm gonna do the sides too, right? It's like beating a drum. Did I tell you that when you bake, it's a little bit messy? That's okay, you just get a cloth and you clean up after yourself. Now I'm going to show you something special. When it's done, I'm going to put it on this cake plate. And this was the cake plate my mommy used to put my birthday cake on when I was a little girl. And when I decided to get married to Mr. Freer, I took the cake plate with me. And one day she said, I can't find the cake plate. And I said, well, it's at my house. Because I love it. So I put all my special cakes on that cake plate. Because it always gave me nice memories. Okay, so now I'm going to turn this up a little bit. Whoa, you're not going to believe it. Mr. Freer, come and show them what it looks like. It is not, I'm going to show you, look. It's chocolate, but it needs a spatula to get the edges a little bit done. So see how easy it is to make a cake? Do you think that's that hard? We didn't need that many things. Let's remember what we put in it. Well, we just let it beat for one last time. First we put in milk, butter, egg, and a vanilla. We mixed that, so they were the wet ingredients. They were everything that was wet. Then we had to add the dry ingredients. That means if you touch it, it's dry. So we added the flour, the sugar, the cocoa, the baking soda, the baking powder, and the salt. And then we mixed it again. So just gonna turn out really fast to give it a good beat. Turn it off, and I'm going to go like this. If you have an apron, I think some of you probably have baking aprons, you could wear your apron while you're doing it so you don't get so messy. If Penny was here and Eddie, they'd ask me, Gamma, can I lick the bowl? And I would probably say, okay. After I dump it into here. So I'm going to pour it in here. Just like this. I've got my spatula. Doesn't that look yummy? Is this a fun math lesson? We learn fractions. That's what they're called when you have numbers like that. That's called fractions. Fractions you can understand. There, so my bowl is empty. Now I have to put it in the oven for 30 minutes. Like this. In you go. Set my timer for 30 minutes. So before I take it out of the oven, well, I'm going to check it with a toothpick, and if the toothpick comes out clean, that means the cake's done. If there's still kind of gunk on the toothpick, then I have to leave it in for about 5 more minutes. So I'll do that. But well, I'm just going to wash my hands quickly, and then I'm going to show you the math that we're doing today. Chocolate. And then while you do your math, I have to clean up the kitchen. Okay, so we do have worksheets to do today while your cake is baking. So we're learning about number 8, a circle and a circle, like that. So that's kind of easy to make, isn't it? Just 2 circles on top of each other. This artist did 2 tires on top of each other. So looks like they're at the pond, not the beaver dam though. So let's look for 8 frogs first. So we'll count them together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And now it looks like we're looking for 8 leaves. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And now what are we looking for? 8 fish. Can you help me find a fish? Oh, the raccoons are eating the fish. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This guy's holding it. 8. These are called bulrushes. You see them here? Bulrushes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And do you know what these are called? They're called tadpoles. We're going to be learning about tadpoles in a few weeks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. What's next do we have to look for? Oh, 8 yellow leaves, or tan leaves probably. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And what are these again? Raccoons. Look at those sneaky raccoons. They were hungry. Did you know raccoons eat fish? They do. They probably eat frogs too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Do you like the mask over their eyes. They look like little bandits. And 8 lily pads, 8 flowers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Do you notice that some of the frogs are hiding under the lily pads? They don't want the raccoons to find them. And last thing we're looking for is this. 8. Oh, it's 8 fence posts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so now I'm going to show you what our work looks like today. So it is number 8. So you have to count 8 leaves. And look at, there's different kinds of leaves. There's an oak leaf. And I'm not sure what the other kinds, but each tree has its own kind of leaf. We know what a maple leaf looks like, don't we? So remember, mark them off with a pencil as you count them. Let me get my pencil. So as you count them, you have to mark them off. Otherwise, you're going to get mixed up, especially when you get to things like this. That's a lot of leaves. Let's count the numbers again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If you're not sure what the number looks like, always start with number 1 and count. And are you remembering to count inside your head? Because at home it's okay to count out loud. It's only you and mom, or you and your sister, or you and your dad. But when you're at school, if everybody's counting out loud, it gets really confusing for everybody. So I'm going to point to the numbers and you're going to count inside your head to show mom or whoever's helping you that you can count in your head. Try not to count out loud. So you count. Did you count inside your head? That's your brain working when you do that. So it's really important that you count inside your head when you're doing work like this with a group of children. So this is the first page. The second page, are different kinds of transportation, different things that go. So you have to put the answer here. So you have to count. So this looks like Jeeps. Are these limos? Motorbikes, ambulances, and also start making 8 here. So this one they're not doing 2 circles. They're doing 1 continuous. That's called a figure 8. If that's hard for you to do, you can just do 2 circles in the space in between. The next sheet looks like this. So it says you have to draw 8 houses. And there's your houses. Now, you don't have to make them as complicated. So I'm going to show you on my blackboard. Look, I've got a blackboard here. How to draw a house. So it's you can draw your square first, a square shape. So that's good because we're working on shapes then. And put a triangle on top. You could do a rectangle here, the door, and 2 little squares for the windows. If you want, you can do a chimney there. Here's a house. By the way, these are some of the pictures you've sent me. So I've been keeping them up. Some of you have dropped off things for me. That's so sweet. Thank you. Okay. Now, you only have to color the houses that have number 8 in them. So use your sharp detective eyes. And then 7, 9. 8 always goes in the middle. They forgot to put it in. So you have to draw number 8. Remember, letters are tall, they're not short, so they take up both spaces. And then the last sheet, you have to, it says cut out 8 lizards, paste, and that's another name for glue, paste them on the, what does that say? Rock. So moms and dads, at this point, you can have them start reading some of these words, right? They can sound out cut, they can sound it out, they can read this, they can try to get them to sound these words out. That's just another extra step. When I'm at school, some of the children are really speedy Gonzales at math, some take longer. The children that are speedy Gonzales, I make them stop and read it. I even get highlighter and say, you can highlight the word the for me, find the word the. Just extend the activity a little bit longer. Here it says draw 8 spiders on the web. So Here's our web. How do you draw a spider? Well, let's, what color? Maybe make a pink one. So a spider, you're gonna draw a circle first. That's how I do it. He has 8 legs, right? 1, 2, 3, 4 on one side. 1, 2, 3, 4. Can you give him big eyes? Do you want to give him a mouth? Here's a spider. Do you like my spider? Should I do one more? I'll do it a different color. Let's see. Maybe I'll do this one yellow. How many legs on one side? Did you say 4? 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 4 on the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4. So then let's count all together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So then we learn 4 plus 4 equals 8. Let's give him some eyes and a big smile. Do you know what they want? Those spiders, they want the flies that you made last week, because that's what they like to eat. I don't mind spiders in my house. All right, so you're gonna turn off the video now and do your work, and when you come back, the cake will be done. We're gonna set the table. We're gonna sing some songs and have a story. Okay, you go do your work.